Well, welcome back, everyone, to the Blazer Victory Podcast. This is John Duncan, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host Darian Smith, and we are coming to you live from the Atlantis Resort at the Bahamas.
Whoa, look how much fun we are having, John, on this resort.
I'm telling you, hey, only in our dreams, right?
Yeah, I'm in this resort in Warrior, Alabama.
Same here, bro. Same here.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So
Oh man, well guys, we've got a bowl game this Friday. I almost said afternoon, really Friday morning at 10:30 a.m. as our UAB Blazers take on the Miami, Ohio Redhawks. But before we get into that, previewing that matchup, just a friendly reminder, if you are not subscribed to the Blazer Victory podcast, wherever you're listening to us right now, whether that's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, wherever, Podbean, hit that subscribe or follow button so you do not miss any future episodes of the Blazer Victory podcast. And also, more importantly, too, make sure you share the Blazer Victory podcast with a friend or two and just help spread the word that, we've been covering UAB football and basketball, UAB sports for a couple years now. And, we've grown, a lot over these last couple years, but definitely think that we can grow some more. So definitely share us with a couple of UAB friends and share the
man,
content.
man. Well, first thing to that, I got to get my kids in here to do this spot. Well, kids nowadays they watch a lot of YouTube. Some of my kids like to go like, "Hey guys, hit that like button down below. subscribe. I'm like, what are y'all doing, man?
Man, they know it better than we do.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, and make sure you buy merch. But they know about the how to buy it. They know what merch is and all that stuff. I'm just like, wow, like you guys are way ahead of us, and man, we'll see. I'm just ready. I'm ready to see. I'm ready to see how the team focuses dials in on this game. We're gonna be in the Bahamas.
Me too.
And I'm happy for the kids. I'm happy that they get to go on this trip. It's like a free all-inclusive trip, man.
It is, man. I'm telling you. And for the coaching, for the coaching staff too, like they all get to spend, the week together and, for one more time and just have fun. And yeah, there's a football game, but hey, I mean, they've earned the right to go to this Bahamas Bowl, so definitely enjoy yourself. I mean, make memories. That's what it's for.
Man, I hate to say this. It almost feels as if that the football game is secondary.
Oh, yeah, that's my fear too. But hey, honestly, man, at this point, I hope we don't have any Miami, Ohio. Well, I'm sure we'll have a couple of Miami fans listening. But I mean, is there any point to the game? I mean, like
we up there to enjoy, and this group of guys will never be together again. Grayson Cash and all of the
Will Bowler,
Bowler and all these guys that we have on the team. This group of guys that we appreciate so much, and everything they've been through as part of this team and how they've helped us elevate to this level. We'll never see this group of guys together again. So yes, they get to play the game that they love and with the teammates they love together one more time. That's a special memory to cherish. They get to do that in the Bahamas. Hopefully they get to stay a night or two, after the game, and you get to just have fun, like go out, experience, and hopefully after a good win.
Unfortunately, I think after the game they have to hurry up and fly home. But they are in the Bahamas now Monday, so they've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, to enjoy Atlantis and all the Bahamas, has to offer, and then they have the game Friday morning, and I believe they fly back that day. They might get to stay Friday night, but I'm pretty sure they have to fly back that evening, Friday evening.
Yeah.
But, hey, we'll still preview the game. Don't worry. We did an elusive film study, studying the Miami, Ohio Redhawks. And honestly, hey, we had Steve Helwick on, a great interview. He covers the MAC for Hustle Belt and also the Group of Five for Underdog Dynasty. He's been doing this for a few years. He does a great job. If you are not following Steve Helwick on Twitter, follow him at @S_Helwick, HELWICK. does a great job, like I said. But before we get into, rolling that interview and giving our predictions and previewing the Bahamas Bowl game, Darian, there's been some things happening. The first thing we want to say is that there has been another. Trent Dilfer has announced his defensive coordinator. It is Seone Taufa'o. And, this is a guy that comes from Lipscomb Academy where, he was Trent Dilfer's defensive coordinator for several years. I mean, this is, a guy that has also helped Trent Dilfer out with Elite 11 Academy. So he has a lot of experience working with Trent Dilfer. So I'm excited to see what he does, finally at the college level. But I don't know. Any thoughts, Darian, on this defensive coordinator hire?
Yeah, this is the hire that's like, I can see why some fans are like, hold up, man, this one is a little scary.
Yeah.
Because we're at this level, we're at the D1 level, moving up to the AAC, good quality football. And, just to have a guy that's never been a coordinator, period, as far as in the college level, in the college ranks. And then if you go to his page, it's like QB coach. He was like, wait, it's like, wait, hold on, like, but just saying what he did at Lipscomb and that he just knows ball. Like, so the best thing you can do is just kind of look around and see what people say about people, and a whole bunch of his fans, people that support him, especially from Lipscomb, they was like, oh no, this guy's great. Just hearing Trent talk about him, calling him is like the finest coach he's ever been around. He's had the privilege to coach with. He had nothing but the highest praise for him. So you tend to trust those football minds and say, okay, it must be something to this, and just hearing Trent. I really like what's that was on Cole and Kublik. Was that he on Cole and Kublik?
Shout out to Mac and Cube with Greg McElroy and Cole Kublik.
Yes,
Yeah, shout out.
Man, so on Mac and Cube, just seeing Trent really talk ball, like talk football, it
gets you excited. It definitely gets you excited.
Yes, because he was really getting into the weeds of it. Trent is really good. Like, I mean, he was on ESPN, but he is really, really, really good at talking. Like, that is, he is, and that is part of a skill, part of being a head coach. Like, I played under Neil Callaway, and that was Callaway could not talk to the public to save his life.
Poor Neil.
He could not. He just could not. And I honestly think that's what doomed him, because as a communicator, he just wasn't good. I think he was would have been a good position coach, but as a head coach guy, he just did not have that at all. Garrick McGee was horrible at that too. So Trent coming in and just being able to display his knowledge in such a way to where it can translate to the public to where we can understand. That's really impressive. At the same time, he's able to flex his knowledge. And so just having a football mind like that, vouching so hard, like the highest praise he could have, it made me say, okay, let me push my fears to the side, because there's obviously something that they see, that he sees, that's more than meets the eye. So I think this is one that we just need to wait and see, and then we need to wait and see what kind of pull he has on recruits. Like,
yes,
we haven't heard him talk yet. I want to see what kind of guys he's able to bring in, who he's able to connect to, and go from there.
And yeah, we're definitely about to get into some recruiting talk in a minute. But before we do, Darian, I want to give a shout out to Football Scoop, because they posted this, that over the past 3 seasons at Lipscomb Academy, and again, this is high school football, but still, Taufa'o's defense pitched 14 shutouts in those 3 seasons. 14 just straight shutouts. That's impressive, man. I don't care what level of ball. I know it's high school, but still, 14 shutouts. Like, the opposing team didn't score a field goal in 14. Like, come on now, that is impressive. And for him to be with Trent Dilfer for so long, and as we mentioned earlier, the Elite 11 Academy, like obviously Trent trusts him. So it's definitely, like Darian just said, it's going to be a wait and see approach, because I know how crazy, I know UAB fans, what you're screaming inside your head right now listening to this podcast. Everybody coming from Lipscomb, coaches, players, water boy, water girl, everybody coming from Lipscomb. They might even bring the mascot on too. But just be patient. Like, it's a wait and see approach. And as we mentioned a couple episodes before, Darian, this is either going to turn out really great or really bad. And we both agree there's not going to be an in between. So, but I'm excited. Hey, I mean, like Darian mentioned, hey, hearing him on that show, hearing him on a couple others, hearing Trent Dilfer on a couple other shows, the man knows his X's and O's. He was on ESPN as an analyst for a reason. He played in the NFL for years, won a Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens for a reason. The guy knows football. He took over a terrible Lipscomb Academy program, turned it into one of the best high school programs in the nation. So, hey, let's give the man a chance, okay?
Right. And I think Bill Clark has been hands down like the best talking communicator as a football coach UAB has ever had. I think Trent even clears Bill as far as in like the media relations, like the way he can talk, the way he's been trained in that. Like that is just what he does. Like Bill was just a easy person to talk to as far he was a coach that could talk. Trent is a coach, yes, but he's also a media personality, and so the guy can talk, he can communicate, he can make you feel like you just running through a wall for him, and so I'm just excited to see him get out there and recruit, because I'm like, man, this guy he found a way to get the fan base behind him so quick because of his words, and he knew how to use them. He knew what to attack. He knew what to dive into. Not run away from. Like he's just really, really good at communicating. And I think that transfer, we talk about recruiting, the way he has recruited this team, everybody was like, wow, let's keep an eye on UAB. All of the media coverage that we had about the team and the letter and everything. About how the team wanted Coach Vincent so bad, and we was just going to expect, an exodus of players. Well, I think rumors of our demise has been greatly exaggerated when it comes to that. And we have Malik Bryan and Iverson Hooks. I was excited to see Iverson Hooks. I'm not gonna lie. I thought he was gonna be a fine player.
Yeah, he really popped off fall camp. He was gonna be really good, I think. So he'll, if he chooses to, go elsewhere, he'll be good for any team that picks him up. I know that. Also, I think Darian Cannon has also entered the portal. I believe I'm looking for his official tweet. I don't see that, but I remember seeing that last week. Really, that's just 2 to 3 players right now that have entered the portal. Now, granted, hey, we'll definitely find out after the Bahamas Bowl. After the bowl game's over, who else, if there's anybody else going to enter the portal, we'll see. But Darian, let's just kind of go into recruiting. I'm sure all Blazer fans have seen on Twitter, Emmanuel Waller has shut down his recruitment and reaffirmed his decision to be a UAB commit. And I tell you what, I saw Steve's article. Shout out Steve Irvine, 1819 News. Great job. How about Emmanuel Waller just everywhere you see, if UAB targets a person and they get an offer, Emmanuel is one of the first ones on Twitter saying, hey, come join us, come join UAB. Like, he's already out there recruiting and trying to sell the program. And you love to see that as a former player, right, Darian? Like seeing somebody else trying to bring other people into the South Side to UAB.
Right. And he's a guy that he's not just some like guy that barely, one offer type of guy. He's got multiple offers. around the nation. It's highly coveted player, but he's been such a great ambassador for the program. He talks well. He he's able to communicate his thoughts really well, and I like to see he has a vision. I saw him tweet like they want to take it to the next level, like they
Yes.
want this to be bigger, and it seems like he is the perfect guy to like be the ambassador for Trent because that's Trent. Trent was talking about the playoffs, being in the playoffs by year two, like so you need guys like Emmanuel Waller to really he's already bought in. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
already bought in, but not only has he bought in, the type of kid he is, the type of hard worker, and the way that he's just a smart kid. This is not just some kid that you're getting that that doesn't know how to talk or formulate his thoughts well. He's just able to get it across well, and that's the guy you want to be your ambassador. And it's good to have that guy and have him be able to play with, probably be your highest rated recruit as of now. So just seeing him shut down his recruitment and just basically recruit other guys. I saw the article, and he's playing in a North South All Star game,
Mm-hmm.
and they was talking about how him and Christopher Bracey, the
Yes.
other guy, they both are playing in the All Star game, and how they can, now that they've shut down their recruitment, they both can go down and recruit at the All Star game, and I believe Connor Knight,
Yes.
he's playing in that game as well, and Connor Knight is he was a defensive tackle, he has scholarships, Power Five, all of that, was committed to USF, decommitted, and UAB hopped all over there from Hewitt Trustville.
Husky fast.
Yep, Husky fast, and we were able to snag him. He committed today. So that's the kind of like these are the type of quality commits that we need. Like these guys are Power Five guys,
Mm-hmm.
and we need these type of guys, especially coming up from high school, being in the program for years. Let them marinate and develop. And man, shoot, I'm looking at some of the other guys that we got that we done had on official visits.
Mm-hmm.
And
Some talented prospects, man.
man, we got some talent. So even if we're able to get like a defensive tackle and the edge rusher, like we need just like two more defensive linemen to make this like a perfect D line recruiting class. If we can get like four of those guys, I'll be so excited. Like, man, we got some we got some hitters coming in, on that D line because the games are won in the trenches, like, and then you have the skilled guys to come and just take it over the top. You know what I'm saying? You need the base formula to win is in the trenches, but then you get those playmakers.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been seeing this coaching staff go after wide receivers. That's something that um we've been looking for more of, like dynamic playmakers. I would say,
Yeah.
and because under the offense that we've had, it's kind of been like we have one receiver to really stand out and supporting roles. Well, I think with the offense that we'll have, I think a lot of guys be able to show their abilities, man. I think we have one. I think we already have one on the team in our boy Fred Farrier. So,
Yes. Yes.
but yeah,
So
so I'm excited to see like what the offense will be, what the defense will be, how like the guys that we bring in. We're seeing offers flying all over the place. I'm starting to see the offensive line offers roll in now, and so I'm seeing the offers come. I'm seeing the offers come, and I think the next guy to watch is the wide receiver from Penson. I think
oh yeah, we're in this top four. Yeah.
we're in this top four, and I'm seeing him liking coming on some stuff UAB related as far as guys committing and everything. I'm feeling like we got a good shot there, and that'll be good. And we have a lot of other guys that they brought in. I think we're having a big recruiting weekend coming up. According to Steve's article,
Yes,
and
this
we are
weekend. Yep.
yeah, this weekend coming up, and we already brought in a lot of dogs this weekend. And I just love the guys that we're targeting. We're going after it, man. We're not settling for scraps. You know, we're
Mm-hmm.
not settling for guys that we can't compete with this team. We'll just get this guy. It's like, no, we in the mix. We're right in the mix, and we. I feel like we're gonna get guys, and it's gonna take some time. But the reason I believe in his recruiting philosophy is because what he was able to do with this team, with this current, there was no team in America poised to lose more kids than us. And
Agreed.
then I started looking at the transfer portal, and I'm seeing all these other teams. I'm seeing Clemson, Alabama, Virginia Tech, all these other teams are losing so many people. But here we are. Like we was one of the steady teams in the nation, and to me that spoke volumes.
Yeah.
That
One of
spoke volumes about his ability to recruit.
And one thing to keep in mind too, yes, this weekend is going to be a huge recruiting weekend at UAB. As you know, you just mentioned Steve Irvine wrote in his article. But hey, early signing day is next Wednesday, the 21st. So, a lot is going to happen this next week and a half leading up to next Wednesday. So, but I definitely 100% agree with you, Darian. I love the approach that Trent Dilfer and the guys on this staff have already taken, already going after elite talent, um, re-recruiting some of the big guys that we had, like Emmanuel Waller, just making sure that, hey, this is, this isn't the previous coaching staff, but we want you to know it's still going to be a family here at UAB. So I love that aspect. But yeah, I can't wait to see what happens this weekend to see if we can get a couple more big dogs, commit to UAB. And next Wednesday is the big day. Normally we wait till February, but I feel like this early signing day has really kind of changed everything. Along going right along with the transfer portal. But yeah, next Wednesday is going to be a huge day for UAB as early signing day is next Wednesday, December the 21st. So, and you got to think, hey, yeah, the Bahamas Bowl may not mean a lot to some people, but hey, I bet a bunch of those potential recruits are going to be watching Friday at 10:30, seeing UAB on ESPN.
Right, right. They're gonna be looking at that. I think we have a good base of the team that we have. Like Trent went about this the right way. They're
Hmm.
gonna be looking at it, and they're gonna. I think those guys are gonna. I think those guys are gonna have some fun and win that game and show the togetherness. And as a recruit, those are things you like to see. You like to see how much a vibe the team has together as a family. Are they really brothers like they say they are? Like every program says that. Every program, but it's different when you go to a program and you see them actually like each other. And
Yeah.
this is really a thing. Like, all coworkers don't like each other. That's just what it is. So if you go to a team and you just see them like ride for each other, like to talk with each other, just have fun. It's something. It's a culture that you want to be a part of. Like like I said, I mentioned before, I've hosted 4-star recruits and stuff before, and believe it or not, they like what we did as a off the field as togetherness as a team. We were together as a team under Callaway. I just don't think we had the direction, but and we didn't have the facilities. And
Yeah.
so ultimately, they couldn't commit to us because of the facilities, and I felt them on that. I'm like, well, dude, you got an offer from South Carolina. Like, I get it. Like, I wouldn't commit because we got a dentist office. Like, but now we have all of that remedied. We've turned that from a weakness to a strength. And so if you actually have guys that like each other, that want to be here, that has a bigger vision, a bigger mission, not only the current players, but the leader of this recruiting class has a huge vision. Like, shout out to Emmanuel Waller, man. Like, I think that's so important. And I see him as like a leader for this program going forward, man. I think he's gonna be huge for us. So Just having a guy like that and having the guys like, already on the team and the culture, I feel like that's already been set. Shout out to Bill Clark, for setting that culture. We needed that. We never had that culture here. And then having Brian Vincent being able to carry that, he just set it up for Trent. They just throw him an alley oop, man. All he
Mm-hmm.
got to do is finish, So I'm excited. I'm excited for the guys that I feel like we got a shot to bring in, and the main reason I'm really excited because Trent Dilfer's media trained, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
this guy know how to talk, so I think he's gonna be able to, bring it home for us.
No doubt. And we'll have something when signing day happens next week. We'll try to do something for the Blazer Victory podcast and put you guys out some content to listen to. And hopefully it'll be a big day. Hopefully it'll be a good day, December 21st, and getting some signees here at UAB. But Darren, we do have a bowl game this Friday at 10:30. UAB faces the Miami, Ohio Redhawks. And in just a couple minutes, we'll roll our interview that we had with Steve Helwick of Hustle Belt and Underdog Dynasty. But honestly, honestly, Miami is a good team. Obviously, 6 wins. They beat a Power 5 team. Now, granted, that was Northwestern, but they still beat a Power 5 team. They've had some kind of ups and downs this season. But one thing that I loved in our interview with Steve that he mentioned to us, Darren, is that Miami, Ohio finishes strong every year. Those last few games of the season, it seems that Chuck Martin is a closer, and he somehow finds a way to get his team bowl eligible every year, it seems. But this team has some ups and downs. Their starting quarterback of the year got hurt in the very first game, and then unfortunately, got hurt later on in the season. And that quarterback is Gabbert, Brett Gabbert. Yes, that is a super younger son of Blaine Gabbert, a quarterback who was at Missouri and is still in the NFL. And Avion Smith jumped in, and for this is a freshman quarterback, a dual threat quarterback, and really almost like a run first quarterback. They love to run RPO with Avion, and they've kind of done that all year. They love to spread it out, and so they still can be multiple, but they love to run RPO and run the quarterback. I mean, you look at Avion Smith; he actually leads the team in rushing yards with 503 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns. That's about it. I mean, they're good. They're good on defense. They pride themselves in stopping the run. However, I don't think they faced a rushing attack like UAB all year. Probably the closest they got to it was the last week of the season against Ball State, where they let Carson Steele, the running back for Ball State, get 180 yards on 26 carries. So they kind of struggled there. I don't think Debo plays Friday. Darren, you agree?
Yeah, I totally agree. It just doesn't really make sense. And then I think the indication in the tea leaves was already out when Steve wrote the article on 1819 News about Jermaine Brown possibly being a 1,000-yard rusher, needing about 150 something yards to reach that goal. And Debo's a selfless guy. And then Debo has a bright future ahead of him, whether we find a way to get him back to come back, or whether he opts to go to the NFL. Depending on what the draft grade is for him, I think it's important. So yeah, if I'm Debo, if I'm the coaching staff, I'm telling Debo like, man, you're not playing in this game. Just come have fun.
I agree.
If I'm the coaching staff, I'm telling if you care about the kid, you tell him, right, this game will be okay. We just want you to have fun and be with us and support us and watch your brother get 1,000 yards. Like we're gonna feed him the rock.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe Tevin Curry can get in there. I liked how Tavin Curry ran the ball in
Mm-hmm.
practice and early in the year. So I want to see him get some reps. I want to see AJ Gates and I want to see Lee Witherspoon. I want to see those guys. Yeah. Hopefully, and then we can see what the future holds for Debo. Hopefully, he'll don the green and gold one more time, depending on that draft grade. But if that draft grade is high, man, as Blazer fans, family, Debo, go get you. Go
Yeah,
get your money.
he got to go if he gets a good grade.
Yeah.
Well, Darren, let's go ahead and just give our predictions. You want to go first?
I mean, I guess I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm not gonna lie. Like this is I usually do in-depth deep dives on our teams. I Bahama Bowl, like I Bahama Bowl dived into this one. I kind of skimmed over, and then I, just kind of read up a little bit on them. You know, just see that they're kind of like one-dimensional against the David Reeves defense is enough for me to say. Um, UAB 37, Miami of Ohio 17.
Ooh, we got it close. So my official hometown lenders Bahamas Bowl prediction is UAB 28, Miami, Ohio 17. So we're kind of close to what we
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
But hey, anything, I mean, nothing's going to surprise me. I mean, honestly, like if they go out there and get rolled, I mean, it's just, hey, I mean, I hope not, but hey.
Like, if they go out there and get rolled, I'll be kind of happy because I'm like, well, that means the guys really enjoyed themselves. Like,
A little too much.
yeah, a little too much, and I'm down for that. I don't want them to lose. This is another. It could be another momentum builder, bowl game win. Just to top off, just to send BV out the right way. Like, I think
That's a great point. Great point. I love
right, the
BB.
guys love BV,
Yes,
and
sir.
BV says he has earned their love and respect. And you got that whole coaching staff. Coach Cam on the offensive line, Coach Kyle Tate on the defensive line. Um, you know, we still waiting to see what Coach Brigham and running backs. I think it's a good chance that he might be back. But Coach David Reeves has been one hell. Like David Reeves has been one of the top defensive coordinators.
Love Coach Reeves, man. Great guy.
One of the top coordinators in this league. I mean, in NCAA. So just sending them out the right way. These guys have earned it and deserved it, and I would love to see that.
Definitely. Well, all right, guys. Well, we'll go ahead and just roll our interview that we had with Steve Helwick. But as always, go Blazers. Well, welcome back, everybody, to the Blazer Victory Podcast, where we are pleased to be joined by Steve Helwick, that covers MAC for Hustle Belt and also the Group of Five for Underdog Dynasty. Steve, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing excellent. It's that time of year in December that you always look forward to when the Bulls start. And I know we're going to talk Bahamas, and that's always one of my favorite ones because that usually kicks off the slate. It's on a Friday afternoon when not much else is going on in the sports world. So it's always one of the best times of the year for me.
Yes, definitely agree. I think I could speak for Darian that we both wish we could be there live, covering the game in the Bahamas. But unfortunately, how things work out, we weren't able to go. But have you ever made it out there to the Bahamas to cover one of the Bahamas Bowls?
I have not. My family has always wanted me to go to that one. They're like, Steve, you got to go to the Bahamas. Tag along with you. And
Nice.
then I end up in a bowl in Florida or Texas or Alabama instead every year. So
Oh, nice. But do you know where you're going this year? Do you already know?
yes, I have a 4-game bowl slate. I'm going to Frisco Bowl this weekend to cover North Texas versus Boise State, and then Armed Forces for Baylor Air Force next week. And then just as a fan, I'm going to go to the Cheez-It Bowl in Orlando for Florida State, Oklahoma, see how that one goes.
Nice.
And I'm closing out my coverage with the Cotton Bowl, Tulane, the AAC champion, against USC. That should be a good one in Arlington.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be a good one. Yeah.
That North Texas one that intrigues me because do they have they got a guy to coach the team yet?
Yeah,
I think Phil Bennett. Yeah.
Oh, they did.
They don't have an official head coach yet, but their defensive coordinator, Phil Bennett, is serving as
okay. He's just the interim. Okay.
The man that wears shorts no matter what kind of weather.
Hey, I'm the same.
Hey, me too. Hey, shorts and flip-flops, man. Let's go. Well, guys, if you are not following Steve on Twitter, definitely go ahead and give him a follow at @S_Helwick. He does a great job. He's been a college football writer for years, for at least the last 2-3 years, I know, because I've been reading them. Steve, you do a great job, and hopefully you can help us out with this Miami, Ohio team. So obviously, just starting off, Chuck Martin. I mean, he's been there almost a decade now for the Red Hawks. Like, it seems that halfway through the year that the fan base was kind of upset at him, and it kind of seemed like maybe Chuck Martin was on the hot seat. But I mean, making it to the Bahamas Bowl for him, I mean, that's got to kind of solidify him to stay at Miami for another year. Wouldn't you say so?
Well, I think that stability is really important for a MAC school, and you don't really see it too often. We had it with Ohio when they had Frank Solich, but usually they're coaches that are getting poached by other schools, or they're coaches that get fired, like you just saw what happened at Western Michigan with Tim Lester after a while. So it's hard to find that middle ground, but it looks like Chuck Martin's found it, where he's performing well enough where he has a MAC championship under his belt. He got his first bowl win last year, but he's not getting the 10-win seasons. Well, no team in the MAC's really getting 10-win seasons recently with the parity in this conference. But he's not getting the 10-win seasons to get him on the radar of other schools to try to hire him away. And one thing that Miami has done a really good job under Chuck Martin is they surge at the end of the year. Last year, they won 5 out of their last 7. This year, they had to win their last 2 to get bowl eligible. Heck, in 2016, they started 0-6 and became the first team ever to start 0-6 and become bowl eligible at 6-6.
Wow.
Chuck Martin's team finished the regular season strong, and that's been a theme recently. We saw it in 2019 when they won the MAC championship and they had an unlikely run in November. So that's what the theme of this team was again this year. They were MAC East favorites going into the season. They were expected to be in Detroit, but when you get your quarterback injured in game 1 of the year and he's out for all but 4 games, that's what's going to happen to your season. It's going to be derailed pretty quickly, but I think they did a good job of adjusting to that later on as the season progressed.
Hey, John, I kind of like this Chuck Martin guy. He's like the college football embodiment of C's get degrees.
Yes, right.
He hasn't had a lose in 2017, though.
Right, yeah.
But there's a lot of 500 there.
He's going to be good enough, just right there in that sweet spot. That's what it seems like. Could you tell us about, is it anybody in this bowl game? Is it some people that's not going to make it? Some people hit the transfer portal, or any shakeups going on?
The only Miami transfer that I know of at the moment is Brett Gabbert, their starting quarterback. But Brett Gabbert then announced he will stay at Miami next year. But I do not think he's going to play in this game because I think he missed a week of bowl prep when he was in that portal. And also, Gabbert has played exactly 4 games this year, and he can retain a red shirt by not playing. And I think that Avion Smith, the backup quarterback, Miami's got enough comfort with him this year where I think that they're fine throwing him out for this bowl game and seeing what happens there, even though Brett Gabbert's still their number 1 guy.
Well, that's great. See, I didn't even know that he had said that he was going to decide to come back to Miami, because I saw where he hit the portal just a couple weeks ago, and I know that he had been struggling. Like Gabbert got hurt the first week of the season, I believe, and then he tried to come back and then got hurt again. But you are correct that he only played 4 games, so he definitely gets a red shirt. And for those that don't know, that is Blaine Gabbert's younger brother. Is that correct, Steve?
That's correct. It's quite an age gap, but that is the young brother.
I was gonna say, didn't he play like 15 years ago?
Hey, he still plays in the NFL. He's still on the Buccaneers roster, I believe.
Oh wow. Well, let's talk a little bit about Avion Smith. And Steve, what you've gotten to see out of Avion Smith. A freshman. He came in just doing a lot of film study on this team. It seems that they love to run RPO with Avion Smith. And, I mean, you look at the stats, he's their leading rusher, 503 yards, 6 touchdowns on the ground, also 9 touchdowns through the air. Was it just more of running him to get him more comfortable with the offense, would you say, Steve? Or is it just, hey, I mean, this is a dual threat guy that, he can turn on the burners and break one?
I think it's more of the latter, that he's more just a dual threat guy and the offense runs best through it. His passing numbers haven't been great. I mean, at times he looks like a freshman. His completion percentage here hovers under 49%. And he can get a few deep throws to his top receivers like Mac Hippenhammer every once in a while. But it's not like they're relying on Avion Smith to throw for even 200 yards a game. The only time he even hit 200 passing yards in a game was a season finale against Ball State. So most of the games he's had single-digit completions, but he's so dynamic as a runner where it reminds me a little bit of Kentucky football when they had Lynn Bowden at the end of the 2019 season.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
where you don't want him passing more than 20 times a game at the moment, but he's so good of a runner that it still keeps your offense turning. And he's had breakaway performances. He's had a couple 100-yard games this year. He had a really good rushing outing to come back from a double-digit deficit to beat Ball State and qualify for bowl eligibility in the season finale. So he's a good runner, and he definitely gives a different profile to this offense, because with Brett Gabbert, it's a lot of downfield shots. It's a passing attack. I mean, last year there were Miami receivers getting 280, 300 receiving yards in a game just because that's what Gabbert was capable of doing. But Chuck Martin had to readjust his offense under Avion Smith. So I think you can expect a lot more running in this one in Miami to keep this grounded, whether it's the quarterback who has the ball or the running backs.
Yeah, and it seems like he just does just enough passing just to keep the defense somewhat honest, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and there have been times where he's won the game with passes this year. Kent State, Miami pulled off that upset over the Golden Flashes back in October on an end of the game, a third down call, maybe it was a fourth down call, where everybody on Kent State was selling out for the run, and he just completed a nice pass to the tight end. Miami does like to use a lot of tight end usage, so for short passes, you might see a lot of targets in that direction for Avion Smith.
Okay, cool. What about this Miami defense?
I think they're a similar profile defense to what UAB is in terms of stature. Like, I think they have similar points per game ranks, similar yards allowed per game ranks, except the difference is I'd say Miami's run defense is a little stronger than their pass defense, while UAB, I see it as the opposite for them. And Miami has some really good linebackers. Ryan McWood and Matt Salopek, both of those guys have over 100 tackles this year. They combined for almost 14 tackles for loss. They're guys that will get in the backfield a lot. So going to play UAB, you want to have a stronger run defense than your pass defense. So I do like that element about Miami, because UAB has as good as a running back as anyone in the country. I mean, I don't know how he wasn't on the Doak Walker top 3 finalist list, because Dwayne McBride was that insane this year, and his finale performance really solidified a season where he dominated from his first game to his last. So Miami, the focus is going to be on stopping McBride and Jermaine Brown for this game. So having a good run defense really helps. But at the end of the year, I thought that run defense didn't perform as well as it did in the first half of the season. And I did think, though, in Miami's finale, they played a team with similar play calling style to UAB, and that's Ball State. And Ball State has a running back that's kind of like Dwayne McBride and Carson Steele, who's just a guy that can break so many tackles, and he can go off for those 200 yards a game, where he doesn't really have stamina issues, where it seems like the more carries he gets, the better he gets. So Miami was able to withstand that Carson Steele avalanche in the final game of the season. But I think Dwayne McBride might present a different animal for this defense, because that guy can run.
And Steve, I was going to say, I don't think Debo is going to play in the bowl game. We don't know 100%, but that's just my hunch. You know, he's making the trip to the Bahamas, but Darian and I kind of both agree that he's not going to play. But I was going to ask you, in watching that Ball State film and watching, I know how special Carson Steele is, and I believe he's in the transfer portal now. He'll probably go to maybe even a P5 school and perform well. But kind of looking at that game, I mean, outside of the Ball State game, has Miami really played a really good rushing offense? Because I know in the MAC, they love to sling it around, and there are a bunch of good quarterbacks and a bunch of good wide receivers, but have they really faced a good running back outside of Carson Steele at Ball State?
Yes, Kent State has Marquez Cooper, who was the first All-MAC running back, and Miami's run defense performed so well against Kent State that game. They limited Cooper to under 40 yards. They limited their mobile quarterback, Colin Schlee, to under 3 yards a carry. I thought that was the game where I said, this Miami run defense is really legit. And they took some of their lumps toward the end of the season, but they were a pretty dominant run defense throughout the year. I also played Cincinnati, which Cincinnati can be a little inconsistent in the run game. They didn't have the best performance against Charles McClellan that game, let him go for over 100 yards. But overall, I do think that Miami's run defense is probably their strongest aspect of their team if you break it down by rushing offense, passing offense, rushing defense, and passing defense. I would say just because of the linebacker core, especially with Ryan McWood and Matt Salopek, two guys that just always seem to be on the ball. Those are the guys you want to watch in this game for the Red Hawks.
Awesome. Well, Darren, did you have any other questions? I've just got one more that I was going to ask Steve.
No, I really don't have anything for right now.
Okay. Well, Steve, I know you cover the MAC. Overall, do you think the MAC is trending up or downwards as far as like an overall product? And the reason why I ask is, UAB is leaving Conference USA to head into the American. But I did notice, Conference USA's new TV deal is they're going to start slotting some Conference USA games on, weeknights, like Wednesday nights, I believe in October. Like, I don't know. I know you cover the MAC, so I just want to get your overall just thoughts on how the MAC is trending right now.
I really hate to say this because, I love the MAC, and MAC football is incredible, and I love watching weeknights. That's what really got me into writing about the MAC. I have no connection to any MAC schools. I'm from Texas. But about the MAC is they haven't had a double-digit win champion since 2017. And that Toledo team in 2017, that was their last double-digit win champion, lost 34-0 in the Dollar General Bowl to App State that year. So ever since 2016, Western Michigan really captured the nation by storm. The MAC hasn't had that team that cracks the national rankings and really captivates the attention of college football fans. They had the 2020 pandemic season where they played a conference-only schedule, and Buffalo and Ball State finished ranked. But due to the conference-only schedule, we don't know how they would have performed in non-conference play. Recently, the MAC hasn't had the best showing in non-conference play. 2 of its bowl-eligible teams lost to FCS teams this year. And one thing that's also rough about them is when you look at the transfer portal, you see so many first-team All-MAC guys transferring with plenty of years of eligibility remaining. Carson Steele, I just named, the true sophomore, he's going to the transfer portal. Marquez Cooper, Kent State's first-team all-running back, transfer portal. Kent State's 2 first-team all-MAC receivers, transfer portal. Gabbert was in there before testing the waters and deciding to opt out. So I think with the transfer portal now, a lot of these MAC guys are trying to get more exposure maybe when they're budding stars. Because if you look at recent MAC stars, you saw Jarrett Patterson from Buffalo. He would get 300 rushing yards a game. And he's one of the greatest college running backs I've ever seen. He deserved to be drafted in the NFL, but I think the lack of exposure might have been one of the factors that prevented him, because he had all the tools. He had the break tackle ability. He had the speed. He had the performances. But why wasn't he drafted? It was just like, I think he needed more exposure and his name to be out there more going into the draft. So I do think that a lot of guys are going to see things like that, and they're going to hit the transfer portal for other opportunities. And the fact that the MAC can't really have that dominant team that captivates the nation like 2016 Western Michigan, I think that's been an issue for the conference recently. You're getting 8-6 champions every year. Right now, Toledo's going into a bowl game at 8-5 against Liberty. They're the conference champion this year. And the MAC champion has only won, I think the MAC champion's only won 1 bowl game since 2012. And that would be 2020. Ball State beat San Jose State. That is the only MAC champion that's won a bowl game since 2012. So that's another thing that the conference really needs to reverse course on.
Yeah, and that was the COVID year too. So
yeah, it just sucks to see a conference, kind of become a developmental league for P5. It's going to be hard to build up, to be able to face these teams if you can't keep your star players. It's going to be hard to program build when you put so much into helping develop these guys, and then they take that development and say, hey, whatever, Mississippi State or somebody, I'm transferring, or Purdue or something. So hopefully we can do something they can do something in the future to help change that. I thought the transfer portal in the beginning was going to be a tool that was going to be good for smaller conferences, but hey, this is what it's turned into for right now. So hopefully, man, the MAC can get the course reversed.
Yeah, it goes both ways, but I feel like the output's been greater than the input lately.
Yeah, and another, point to, kind of hit on what Steve was saying is that, you look at Kent State, like Sean Lewis leaving a head coaching role at Kent State to go be an offensive coordinator at Colorado under Dion. Like, I don't know. And I don't know if you're the MAC, what can you do? Like, you can't give up the weeknight because, that's let's be honest, that's how people know the MAC is from watching Tuesday night, Wednesday night games. So I don't really know what you can do. They kind of explored expansion to, kind of grab Western Kentucky and Middle Tennessee, but that didn't work out. So I honestly do not know. I don't know what the MAC can do, other than, like Steve mentioned, start to win those non-conference games and start to kind of build more respect, and then
right,
maybe you can go that route. But I don't know. But Steve, thank you so much for coming on the Blazer Victory podcast. Guys, if you are listening to us now and you are not following Steve Helwick on Twitter, give him a follow at @S_Helwick on Twitter. Puts out great content. And as he mentioned earlier, he's going to be live at 4 bowl games. So definitely hit the follow button and check out his bowl game coverage. Steve, thanks again for coming on, buddy.
Thanks for having me on. Looking forward to this game on Friday.
Yes, we are too. And Darian and I will be back Friday afternoon, evening sometime to give an instant reaction to the Bahamas bowl game. But Darian, you want to close us out?
Hey, Blazer Nation, let's ride.
Bahamas bowl style.